Rated M for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
From the gridiron to the ball diamonds, from the hardwood to the ice rinks, from the fairways to the octagon and everywhere in between. If it makes headlines, it's fair game on the Sports Reel podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network. And we do welcome you to the show. We are live streaming this in real time on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, Riverside.fm. Welcome to the Sports Reel podcast here on the PFC Entertainment Network, along with Tim Sheridan. I'm Jason Klaus. I gotta be honest with you, man. Like when we first started doing a live stream, I had that one graphic that said that the live stream was coming up, and I would let it run for like 5 minutes. It gave me all the time in the world to get the thing live on our socials, start sharing the link to the different pages because I've got like 10 pages just under the network, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's gotten to a point to where during the course of the signature and the rating and the open, done. I'm pretty proud of myself, but man, my fingers do not stop moving in that 90 seconds. You know what I mean? How are you?
Oh, mine don't. I'm good. Mine don't stop moving either. Usually I'm not even on this. I'm on Facebook trying to move it to different pages and share it on different pages at the same time while the intro's going. So it's like, just keep it going. But anyways, I am great. Fucking fantastic. Had a great weekend. Have a great start to the week. Everything seems to be going great. I'm just a happy guy. Super happy guy.
Dude, that makes me so happy to hear that. I'm not even close to messing around right now. I love when my people are good. That makes me feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to hear that. A couple of things that I would like to bring to the table before we start talking about sports news and headlines and things of this nature, but it does affect the show and the future of it moving forward. Um, we're going to start getting a lot more involved with interacting with our fan base, with our listeners, with our viewers. The whole concept of live streaming this show, and it's really the only show that we do the live stream on a consistent weekly basis. So it kind of has set itself up with its own identity, and it has resonated, and we certainly appreciate that. Tell your friends, tell your family, likes and share the show. We would appreciate that. But to kind of pull the curtain back a little bit, I went ahead and upgraded our capabilities here with Riverside.fm. I'm not sure if it resonates on the social media feed, but if you go back and watch the replay on Spotify or on YouTube, you should be able to see that there's a difference in like the background now has our logo in it instead of it being just a plain black screen. There's going to be more overlays that are going to be incorporated in real time while we're doing this, whereas before it was something that I would have to do in post production of the show. We're going to be able to incorporate that live as it happens. Um, Next month, we are going to be able to start taking live phone calls into the show. The show will have a specific number tied to it that we can then share with our audience, and they can actually call into the show and speak to us live in real time. And then in 2 weeks, we will be making our debut on TikTok. So you'll be able to start seeing us live on TikTok as well.
Us cat videos and us.
cat videos. I'm into the kangaroos, brother. Like these
Oh,
sons of
you're down
bitches,
the.
they fascinate me. They're
Those fucking
scary as
things are
all.
jacked. You ever see the big ones look like they're all fucking jacked up on testosterone, like walking around, chest all pumped out? It's like, what the fuck?
They look like they're legitimately on steroids. You
Yeah.
know, it was like, man, and they're creepy as get out. They are nothing like they were animated in the Looney Tune cartoons or anything. Like these things are scary as fuck, and I
Yeah.
want no part of them. But they fascinate me. Like when they start fighting, with one another, that's funny. That's a funny fight. So yeah, we will be making we're expanding our footprint here at the PFC network and this show in particular. So it's things are moving forward. For me personally, if I can be honest with you, bro, I am in the best place that I've been in I don't know how long. Like everything is firing on all cylinders. Things are moving forward. They're trending just in the most amazing way. I'm a happy dude, and it's been a minute since I can, across the board. Like I am a happy dude, and you're part of that
Well,
too.
that's
I'll
always.
have you know.
Yeah.
Doing
Well, yeah.
this.
I mean, how could I not be? Fuck. I spread positivity. I'm over here creating fires, that's creating plumes of positivity. It's hard not to be positive around me. The pillar of positivity.
Ooh, I like that. That's a goddamn t-shirt waiting to
Yeah.
happen. Pillar of positive. That's how we do it here, man. You know how many shirts have been spawned off of Amy's show just by shit that she says? I'm like, stop. I need to
Oh,
write
she's
that
full of
down.
one-liners.
She
Yeah.
really is. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Um, but listen, folks aren't here to listen to us banter back and forth about things of that nature. Like I said, I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed as to what's coming. I'm really excited about the phone call thing, though.
That's
People,
gonna be a blast.
yeah, yeah, I'm really
Especially, I just
looking.
want people to call in here and talk shit to us. Like, to be
Yeah,
honest, like just talk
look,
shit so I can talk shit back. I love talking shit. Let's roll.
I'm all look. I've never been one to shy away from cutting a promo on a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Look, and I mean we'll get
Exactly.
into it once that starts to become incorporated. But I would like to think that we've got smart fans. We have smart listeners that tune into the
Well,
show, and
somebody has to be smart here because it's not me. So fuck.
not
Hopefully
every.
they are.
What are you doing?
I was trying to pick the fuzz off my fucking microphone. It's bugging me. I don't even know where the fuck it's coming from.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's
I'm
phenomenal.
squirreling. I'm
I
in
was
a
like,
great mood.
I know. I could tell. I could tell. I didn't know if you're making some sort of hand gesture that I just was not picking up on. Like, I just want to make sure you're
Fucking
good.
throwing up gang signs, Jason.
I was like, what the fuck are we doing right now? All right, man. There's a number of sports headlines and news and notes that we want to dive into, and at the end of the show, we're going to reserve that piece for what we saw on Saturday night. And it is going to be geared towards WWE and the Elimination Chamber. But as this thing has played out, it goes so far beyond just a wrestling angle. We're going to get into that later on in the program. Man, Tim, last week we alluded to the fact that there's just never a time when the NFL is not making noise. And there's a number of things that I know that you would like to bring to the table and discuss. So one thing that came across my radar that was NFL related was this substantial extension that Saquon Barkley was gifted by the Philadelphia Eagles for 2 years, and I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I feel like it was like 40 something million for this deal, just an astronomical amount of money for this extension. And
Yes.
on the other side of that, I just read right before we came on the air, Dak Prescott his contract is being reworked to open up some cap space for the Dallas Cowboys. Where do you want to start here with in terms of NFL news this week, my friend?
Well, we can start with the Dak thing, or not the Dak thing. Sorry, we don't ever talk about Dak Prescott on this show, so please wash your mouth out with fucking soap. That guy's horrible.
Tell me how you
Um,
really feel.
no, I'm actually gonna look up the actual details of Saquon Barkley, 2-year extension worth 41.2 million in new money with 36 million guaranteed at signing and 15 million more in incentives. That is the highest contract for a running back in history. And I mean, does he deserve it? Yeah. I mean, that guy was lights out last season. He was the big reason they made it as far as they did. Um, they also re-signed linebacker Zach Bond to a $51 million deal with 34 million guaranteed. But yeah, Saquon, absolutely worth every penny. But the problem with that is it's going to reset the running back market. You're going to have running backs out there now who are going to want that type of money, whether they're
Yep.
that good or not. So that's going to reset the market, and it's odd to re-sign a running back for an additional 2 years, 1 year into the 3-year contract. So obviously he did something right to impress, the management there to get into a situation where they sign him for that amount of fucking money. I mean, it's future money. He still has 2 years, and I don't know if this extension, the 41 million, is going to take place with the 2 years that he already has. So essentially, is he signed for another 4? I don't know that exact detail. I'm assuming that's the detail because he still had 2 years left on his original contract because he did sign a 3-year. So that
Hmm.
might keep him wrapped up there probably for realistically the rest of his career, which wouldn't be a bad place to go out. Next one I want to get to, and this was one of the first big ones that I saw this week. I don't know if you saw this. San Francisco traded away Debo Samuel to the Washington Redskins. And notice how I said Redskins.
I did notice that, and no, I had not heard that.
Yep. They exchanged a 5th-round pick. He got traded for a 5th-round pick. Now Debo can make Washington even more dangerous if he can stay healthy. The problem with Debo is he's been injured the last 2 seasons and he hasn't really played all that well, but he's like a dual threat. He's a running back that can catch, that plays, off the corners. He's a hell of a player, and that could be a huge addition to that Washington team that really makes the sweat even more in the NFC.
I was just going
And
to say that, like
yeah, that's
they're
go
putting
ahead.
in pieces, the pieces that they were lacking to get them all over the hump, and
Yeah.
a healthy Debo is certainly a move in that direction, in the right direction, man. Because they came in late last year and made people stand up and take notice. Like we're here, and this a healthy Debo is going to be a game changer for sure.
Yeah, for 100%. The only thing that I'm not seeing them doing yet, anyways, is really focusing on that defense. And that defense was kind of a soft point of their team last year. So it's something they really need to step up on. It's great to add these offensive weapons, especially if Debo can stay healthy, but you still need defense to get over that hump because that's kind of where they kind of got lost in last year. I'm trying to look for any more big signings. I know Chiefs signings. I look this up. They just traded away he was playing left tackle a lot last year, but Joe Tooney, they traded away to the Chicago Bears for a 2026. It was either a 4th or 5th round pick. I can't remember the exact pick. I can look up the exact pick. Hold on. Sorry, I got this all up in the air. AFC West.
I mean, as somebody who follows the Chiefs very closely, is that a move that is going to make a negative impact on this
Possibly.
year? Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends on what they pick up to replace them. On whether, I mean, maybe thinking about drafting another offensive lineman. They got somebody in line, or maybe they have somebody that they like better, or maybe they have somebody waiting in the wings that have been waiting to get brought up to get into that position. Joe Tooney is a great offensive lineman, but he's starting to age a little bit. So to clear up some cap space, maybe to bring in somebody a little bit younger, maybe they can help. I never doubt the Chiefs. It's kind of like saying you doubt the Lions and the moves that they make. You know what I mean? You
Right.
trust their GMs. They're smart. I mean, the Chiefs have been on top of the AFC for the last 7 years almost. Let's trust the moves that they make. They did re-sign, or no, they put the franchise tag on Trey Smith, another one of their offensive guards. Did you see that Max Crosby signed a 3-year extension worth 106.5 million with 91.5 million guaranteed? Crosby is now the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL history in per year average salary. So anybody who's still thinking that Max Crosby is coming to Detroit, get that out of your mind, because he is now the only player to make that much money that's not a fucking quarterback.
That is insane.
That's insane. I don't know if I agree with that type of move. I think that's going to hurt them in the long run, to be honest, because when you tie that much money up into one defensive end, you're kind of fucked at this point. Unless you can get him to restructure his contract at some point and put it all on the back end of the contract, you're not gonna. You got to build weapons around weapons. That's
Right.
what you need, and that's going to hurt your team.
Damn, that is throwing all of your eggs into one basket.
Yeah.
That is a stupid amount of money.
It's a stupid amount of money when he's been on the team and you've been chasing to even make the fucking playoffs and you haven't even had a winning season. You know what I mean, let's be honest there. Like, he's a hell of a defensive end and probably one of the best in the league, but you need other pieces on that team to make it successful. Now, Brady is part of that team now. He's part owner.
Mhm.
Obviously, they're coming to him for advice too. And maybe he sees something that the rest of us don't, but I don't see tying up that much money as a smart move.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot about Brady's involvement here. And not just from a financial benefactor point of view, like he does have a voice. He is a respected voice.
Yeah.
And it does make you wonder because he's not in the business to lose money. That's the one thing about him. So if he signs off on something like this, then yeah, there's obviously something that they know that we don't yet. But god damn, man, on the surface, that's a pretty huge financial gamble on one dude.
Yeah. Especially, somebody who's been in the league for a little while. He's still, prime age to go for a few more years, but fuck, that's a ton of money. We were just talking about the Bears picking up Joe Tooney from the Chiefs. That was for a 2026 fourth round pick. So not even a this year pick, it's a next year pick. But they also picked up Jonah Jackson from the Rams, who was previously with the Lions. After that, he had went and signed a 3-year deal with the Rams, and then the Rams trade him away for a 2025 6th-round pick this year. So obviously they might have not have seen something in him, or they're trying to free up cap space. A lot of these moves come down to cap space.
Right.
They're freeing up dead cap. That's the whole reason why the Eagles had released Darius Slay, which I had made a post on our page going, maybe he'd look good in Honolulu Blue again. You know what I mean? He's a veteran, DB that could fit right in there and kind of help mold Terrion Arnold. I did hear that we were going to be trying to re-sign Cam Davis again. That'd be a good move for the Lions, but so far the Lions haven't done anything remarkable. I know they're probably working their asses off to re-sign Hutch to an extension. They still have Hutch for another year, but if they can get a deal done before this season starts and lock him up for another 4 more years, it'd be a good move. The problem with that now is the whole Max Crosby deal. Because anytime these guys get paid this type of money, it resets the fucking market. And now it's going to hurt us when we have to go re-sign Hutch.
Okay. Pause right there.
Yep.
Because this is where Hutch would come to the crossroads. As an athlete, for taking his future into consideration, but his status in the city of Detroit. Now, the Crosby thing does, I mean, raises the bar. It's stupid high. And Aiden Hutchinson is one of those guys that has every right to command that kind of money. But he's going to be at a crossroads where he's going to really push the envelope to get that number or something close, if not eclipse it. But I feel like because of his commitment to this city, his passion for this city that he has put on display on the field, off the field, and how this fan base, especially with the injury this last season, how they gravitated towards this guy. I feel like he would go for I it's I would like to think that the human element would play a role in this, and it's not just how much money that you have or that you can get, but his passion, his love for this team, for the city, and the people in it. If they gave him a longer extension, that does ultimately get him to a magic number. Does it have to be right now to mirror what Crosby is going to be getting here? You see what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like this is going to be a make or break situation where if he doesn't get this amount of money, he's out. There's going to be substantial workings between his team, his financial team and his lawyers, his agents, all that shit,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the Detroit Lions. I would like to think that he's going to put a lot of personal stock into his decision when it does come time to renew his deal.
Well,
Or I could be off my rocker because I
I
put too
mean,
much faith in humanity.
yeah, I think you're onto something there, but it's still going to be such a high deal that because the problem is once these get reset and somebody resets the market like that, you see it every year, even with quarterbacks. Even a friendly team deal like Goff took last year at like I think 45 million a year or some shit. You know what I mean? And his extension, it's still reset way higher than what we were seeing when the Lions had re-signed Stafford for 20 something million a year. It's once these markets get reset, the number's still going to be high. And if you say that you don't value Hutchinson as much as you'd value Max Crosby, that's where it kind of comes in the line. Does it play into his own head, or does he go, I want to take a team friendly deal, but it's still going to be outrageously high regardless? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's still, maybe he doesn't get as much as Max Crosby. Maybe there's injury worries lurking because of what he just broke. And some people don't even come back from that injury. I don't have any doubt in my mind that he's going to come back from that injury. And that could play into effect of trying to re-sign him this year. And maybe they hold off until the end of next season to show what he can still do before he decides to re-sign to show his value. You know what I mean? It's all the thing. These guys look at it this way. You got to think of it a little bit different. Don't think of it as what the player can do for the team or like a team friendly deal or you try to do it. Think about it this way. These guys' careers are so short.
Yeah.
Even the guys who play for 10, 12 years, their careers by the time they're 32, 33, sometimes 35, you're calling it quits. And by the time you got out of college, you were 23, 24. So you stretch to a 10-year career, you're trying to make all your money in those years. Your first contract out of your rookie contract is usually going to be your biggest contract. Because that's when you're still in your prime, you still have a lot of value. Towards the end of their career, you'll notice that a lot of these guys get picked up for like 1-year contracts, like prove it deals or just a 1 year and then they split off to a different team for another year or another year. But right now, this is prime Hutchinson contract. So if you want to wrap him up, I don't think he wants to leave Detroit anyway. I mean, he grew up in the city. He's been a Michigan boy from the day he was born up in, and he played all of his sports all in Michigan. And Not too many people get to say that. And I think that'll affect a little bit of the price that he wants to stay here and he wants to win with his team and win with the Lions. But at the same time, he's going to want to make as much money as physically possible because who knows, especially after an injury like that, who knows how long that career is going to span out. What's to say he doesn't get injured again and it's over. So you want as much guaranteed money as you can get, and you want to make as much money as you can get. And part of me goes, why do these guys need to make this much money? That's not my call. You know what I mean? That's how the market is suggesting that these go. And when you get contracts like Max Crosby's, it resets it and it becomes ridiculous. So pretty much all the extra money they got in the salary cap this year, which I think went up by 22 million for every team, that's all going to go to like one player, theoretically. It's all going to go to Hutch, most likely.
Right.
So you have to base yourself. Luckily, the Lions aren't in the same situation that the Raiders are. The Lions have kept the majority of their talent. They're already re-signed. They don't have to re-sign a lot of players. Vegas is hurting, so they have a lot of work to do to get competitive, and it's only going to be harder for them now, whereas the Lions still have players locked up for at least another year or two. So they still can be competitive for another year or two, even paying those big contracts out. But it still hurts it in the long run. This is why, if we had any chance of getting Myles Garrett, it's gone now. Like with what Max Crosby signed with, there's no chance that we could afford to pay Hutch and get Myles Garrett. It's not possible. So people need to get that off their fucking tongue. Like, stop talking about it. It's not going to happen. Like, let's stick with what we have. We'll get Hutch back. Let's add to the secondary, and we'll be good to go. But yeah, that's a crazy fucking contract that I'm off in my. And these are going to be coming in every week. So every week we'll be talking about this shit because it's getting crazy. Matthew Stafford re-signed with the Rams, and looked like he restructured his contract already. I'm not getting too much details on his new contract that he signed with them, but he did sign with the Rams. I'm waiting to see. No information on what that was yet.
Isn't that kind of weird though? Usually with something like that, like people are real quick to spill what all went into the restructuring of that deal. I had seen that because, we have talked about. Sorry, I'm trying to do some quick research on the Tigers real quick. When I saw that he had made, that was the headline. Stafford makes his decision about future. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's see what's happening, because we had speculated that perhaps he could be on Minnesota's radar, and there could be some sort of a trade between Los Angeles and the Vikings that would send Stafford to the Vikings. So when I saw that he was opting to have his contract restructured to stay in LA, I was like, oh, all right, probably the best fit for him, because he's he is what that team needed at the time that they needed it. He brought them a Super Bowl. So it's cool. I'm happy for him that he seems to be good where he's at. The other thing that came across, and it may have been late, not last week, but the week before, real late. The Jets have parted ways with Aaron Rodgers, and now there's a
and
lot of
Davante Adams.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder what in the hell is going on in the front offices of New York. One, and two, um, where's Rodgers going? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be real interesting. And is this going to be a package deal? It's that whole dynamic, dude. It's weird to me. It's almost like a fucking wrestling angle, if I can be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's real, and we'll use that transition later on, but just so weird. The whole thing is weird to me.
Yeah, it's I don't know where he's going to end up. I thought maybe Minnesota. I was kind of rooting on Minnesota, like, hey, let's finish out this Favre tour. But it looks like I was reading up that they might re-sign Sam Darnold to like a short term, maybe a 1 year contract there, because they're probably still up in the air about JJ McCarthy. They
Sure.
haven't really seen him play fully yet, so it'd be good. But they also have Daniel Jones there also, so I don't know how long he's there for, but who knows where he ends up. There's a lot of quarterback needy teams right now. I mean, Vegas being one of them. Maybe Vegas. Yeah, I mean, maybe they send Devontae Adams back to Vegas and take Aaron Rodgers with them. Who knows? It seems like the Jets are in a full blown rebuild right now, which would be the smart way to do it. The problem is they killed cap space already, because even just releasing these guys is going to hit them with, they got to pay these guys whatever their guaranteed contracts are regardless. So
Right.
I mean, it's going to hurt him. It's going to take a year or two to get out, and this is why I was really surprised that Aaron Glenn even took that job over there, because especially under the same fucking GM. Like, I would have been like, not unless you replace that GM too, because there's a lot of fucking stupid moves made over the last 2 years. This shit needs to be reset and restarted. Same thing with Chicago. Chicago's not quite as bad. They're actually making moves that make sense to me, and I think they're going to be dangerous this year. Right now, Ben Johnson's rebuilding that offensive line, which is going to make them super dangerous. That was one of the big things last year that was really hurting them.
Right.
But yeah, Rodgers, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. There's a lot of teams out there that need a quarterback, and Rodgers still says he can go. Didn't look like it last year. You had hints of it. Occasionally you'd see it. And then the next game you just go, what the fuck happened to Rodgers? Last week he looked like prime Rodgers, and this week he looked like dog shit. So I mean, I'm just being honest. It's like he'd go from one extreme to the next week by week, and maybe it's the ayahuasca trip that he was on. You know what I mean? Maybe like it took a lot out of him, and he only had enough for a couple good games of the season. That guy's kind of out in left field, but like I said, I watched his little documentary. I actually like Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a good guy. He seems very down to earth. He's a little strange, but he seems like he really knows what he wants to do, and he knows himself, and he's one with himself. You know what I mean? And good for him, but he doesn't seem like a bad guy. So I can't down him on that, but who knows where he's going to, somebody's going to pick him up. He's going to play another year there. I mean, he's not going to get another 3 year contract. He's starting to get a little too old for that, but he'll get a year deal somewhere, and he'll finish out, maybe even 2 years, and he'll finish out somewhere. We'll have to wait and see, but I don't think it's Minnesota that I was wishing on. Like, I wanted to see that Favre tour end.
Right. Made all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly the path that he was following. But I could see him landing with the Raiders. I think that would probably be a decent fit for him. It's number one, and it's got to be beneficial to him. It gets his ass out of cold weather.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that unto itself is, and if he gets into a situation where he feels like, forgive me for the lack of better term, but if he has some degree of creative control over what happens on, within the team, that's where he's going to go. That's
Yeah.
what he wants, and to some degree, I would say he's earned that. He is a good quarterback. He has carved his name in history books for a variety of reasons. People will remember Aaron Rodgers for a long, long time.
Oh, he's definitely going Hall of Fame. Like, he's a Hall
Oh
of Fame
yeah,
caliber quarterback. He's one of the best to ever do it. So wherever he goes, I would think it funny if he'd end up in Las Vegas and then bring Devontae Adams back there with him, because Devontae Adams hated it there. All
right,
he wanted to do was get out of fucking Vegas, and to see him go back to Vegas to be with Rodgers would be fucking hilarious. Because right now, I don't know how many people are gonna really pick him up. He's not gonna get a long term deal somewhere. He's gonna get a 1 year deal somewhere, and I'm surprised that the Jets let him go, other than trying to free up cap space. It's all right now. You're seeing a ton of people getting dropped, and some of these people will get dropped and then re-signed to the
right,
same team they just got dropped from to renegotiate their contracts. And that's what a lot of this is about. That's probably, honestly, you'll probably see Darius Slay probably get re-signed with the Eagles, but I'd like to see him come back to Detroit. I think he'd be a good option, as a corner for Detroit, a good veteran option, and especially if we end up drafting another DB. It would make sense to have some veteran pieces around him to learn for the new guys to learn from. But he might just get re-signed by the Eagles. Who knows? I mean, there's still a lot of time in this offseason, but this shit's going to be happening every week. I mean, free agency's opening up and people are going to start moving around. People are going to be signing people. So we'll be going over this for the next 3-4 weeks, most likely up until draft time. And then once draft time happens, then even more shit happens. The NFL never fucking slows down. You were talking about that last week. It seems
Right.
like it just keeps rolling. It's like we still have. I mean, we're what, a month out from the Super Bowl, and there's still shit happening in the NFL. And it's like, and this is gonna lead all the way up into the thing, all the way up to the season starts because there's so much that's gonna happen. It's just it's cool to watch, kind of see what these teams are focusing on. And right now, I know the North's gonna be tough. I mean, you're looking at Chicago boosting up an offensive line, and they already have a really good defense. So it's going to be a tough go in the North this year, just as it was last year. It was the best division in football. But yeah, it's interesting to see how these teams are moving shit around and trying to free up money to sign other people. And I saw that DK Metcalf asked for a trade today out of Seattle. So let's see what happens with him.
Seattle's another one of those teams that people almost forget about unless they are front and center, on
Yep.
top of the division or making a serious postseason run. They've low key been the team that I rooted for just because I feel bad for them. It's like people forget that the Seahawks are there because they're
Yeah.
just right up in the corner of the other side of the country. You know what I'm
Which,
saying?
yeah,
So
which is crazy that people forget about them because not even 10 years ago they were making Super Bowl runs and
yeah,
they won a Super Bowl.
won a
Under
Super
and
Bowl.
that's another one. Russell Wilson, where's he going to go?
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of quarterbacks out there, and there's a lot of team that needs quarterbacks. So where's Aaron Rodgers going? Where's Russell Wilson going? We're gonna wait to see. From what I'm hearing and all the rumors, it sounds like the Steelers are gonna stick with Justin Fields, which I think is a smart move. He's a fucking good quarterback. If Chicago would have stuck with him, I think they would have been even more dangerous last year because they were more dangerous with him. But that's people make decisions. Chicago makes dumb fucking decisions. Maybe they'll stop now that Ben Johnson's there, but unfortunately that GM's a fucking moron. So we'll wait to see.
Yeah. For sure, man. I mean, right now Chicago is in a unique spot. They're bringing in this new head coach that has garnered a lot of attention, has put a lot of hope back into the Bears fan base. But if you don't have a GM that's going to support your efforts, it's all for naught. You're just pissing in the wind. And you're going to wind up pissing off one of the most boisterous fan bases in all of the NFL. Chicago Bear fans are a culture unto itself, because when things are good, man, they're great. But when they're bad, like they take that shit personally.
Oh, they've been bad
It's,
for a long time.
yeah, and they're getting tired of it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of patience left with around this franchise. So, Ben Johnson's got his work cut out for him. It's either you win now or you are going to be run up the flagpole, and it's
Yep.
not going to be good.
No, I feel you. Speaking of football, though, I was pretty excited over the weekend. This past weekend, I know that you had posted on the thing, but I celebrated my 33rd birthday.
I saw that.
Yeah. And my wife had got me the new Lions all black jersey, which I've been wanting because everybody in the house has had one of them besides me now. I'm still rocking one of the old school blue ones. I don't have any of the new jerseys up until now. So the wife got me Penei Sewell jersey. So showing some love to the offensive linemen because everybody overlooks those guys. Those guys are the heart and soul of that team. So I wanted a Penei Sewell jersey and I finally got one. Pretty fucking excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that. Well, very cool. I got some jerseys on the way.
Oh, do you?
From the PFC
Oh, the
store.
piss. I still have to order mine because I saw that you finally put the black one up there. Thank you. I just have to order it. I am going to order it. It's just been a crazy busy week and I haven't had a chance to yet. I've been fucking all over the place, celebrating my 33rd.
Right.
I like to tell that story. People were calling me out on that online. I was like, what the fuck do you guys mean? I am 33. Fuck off.
I saw that. I was like,
Let's not talk about it, okay? Oh,
hey, no, that's awesome. When you want something like that and you finally get it, that's something special. And you, of all people, you're one of the good dudes in the world. You deserve that. So love that for you. Um, I want to make a quick transition here because I had gotten a question yesterday at work. I'm like, oh, you know what? I should probably mention this on the show. We are going to make, unless there's anything else NFL wise you want to touch on. I do want to look at the opening day schedule real quick because there's
rock
some
on.
questions about it.
Yeah.
Um,
Is it, yeah. Can I guess? Is there questions? Because I just saw something coming across that Mr. Baez is going to be the starting shortstop this year. Is it something to do with that?
no, and I had not seen that.
Oh yeah, I just saw
And
that.
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get to that
I
in
don't know
just
what the
one
truth of
second.
that is. Facebook sometimes can say some stupid ass shit.
It's true.
But
That's true.
yeah.
That's true. A little bit of deep dive, and it would, either confirm or debunk that. But I had gotten a question because I have the MLB app on my phone, and then they are airing some of the pre or the spring training games, and the Chicago Cubs game was on last night. So I was able to watch the Cubs game. I was
Nice.
so excited. Yeah, I loved it. Um, Now generally, uh, well, within the last few years, MLB has also been toying around with expanding international markets. And Tokyo, Japan has been a frequent target for Major League Baseball because baseball is huge in Japan. And there was question on, how was the season really starting because they had seen a headline or something that a game was going to be taking place in Tokyo in March, and they were thinking that it was a glorified spring training game. You're like a goodwill ambassador type of thing. That is not the case. So let me verify, and this is confirmed by MLB.com. The 2025 MLB season will schedule with a two games series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs in Tokyo. This will take place on Tuesday, March 18th and Wednesday, March 19th. This is the sixth time in MLB history that a season opener has taken place in Tokyo. There is a gap between that game, or that series, and the rest of the league having their opening day because the Tigers will be in Los Angeles on Thursday, March the 27th for their opening day to play the Dodgers. So hopefully that clarifies some confusion, and I can understand why people were confused. These are the opening series for opening day for the 2025 season. Thursday, March the 27th, will be the rest of opening day for MLB. The Milwaukee Brewers will be in New York to play the Yankees. It will be the Orioles at the Blue Jays. Philadelphia will travel to Washington to play the Nationals. Boston will be playing the Rangers in Texas. The Cleveland Guardians will be in Kansas City to play the Royals. Padres will be hosting the Braves. The Giants will be in Cincinnati. Pittsburgh will be in Miami. The Angels will be in Chicago to play the White Sox. The Mets will be going to Houston to play the Astros. The Cardinals will host the Twins. Dodgers, Tigers, I just mentioned that. The Athletics, they don't even have the team or the city name on this anymore,
Yeah,
Tim.
because they
It's
don't know
just
where they're gonna be yet.
right, bro. This, see, go back to one of our first episodes, and I cut a promo about this, but seeing it laid out like this on MLB.com just pissed me off to no end. Uh, so the Athletics will be in Seattle to play the Mariners, and the Cubs will be playing the Diamondbacks. Colorado opens their season on Friday the 28th in Tampa Bay. So I'm going to go ahead and splurge and get MLB TV on my phone and on my iPad so I can watch. I got a feeling, brother, and I can't tell you why, but I got a feeling something significant is happening to Major League Baseball this season, and I need to document it. And I can't even tell you why. I have no reason, but there is just something telling me that something significant is happening with it within the 2025 MLB season. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a Cinderella team that comes, comes out of nowhere and makes a run. Like I don't know, but something tells me we are on the cusp of something very special this year, and I'm going to make an appointment to try to get out and see as many games as I can. I want to go to Cincinnati. That's a drive. That's an afternoon drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, Cleveland. I do want to. I am going to make a plan to go to Cleveland.
Good luck.
Pittsburgh. I have always wanted to see Pittsburgh's ballpark, um, and of course Wrigley Field. So there's things I want to do, man, because I booked another trip
I saw
for
that.
the end of April, and it's
I saw
got
you.
my
You climbed that keyboard key by damn key. Worked your way up there and hit that enter button and said, "I will purchase, 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 purchase."
dude. It was can I tell? I guess we'll use this as a transition here to talk about what went on Saturday, but I am not one that generally spends money on myself. You know what I mean? Like I've been instilled to be scared to spend money on myself. What if you need it for this? What if you need it for that? I've missed out on so many
Well,
opportunities.
yeah, and you, I mean, the old, the saying, "You only live once." It is true, and you can't take money with you, so why not spend it? And you'll make more next week, so who gives a fuck?
Right.
So,
Well, my girl and I were talking, and we had decided it was actually, I think she's the one that actually brought it up. She's like, "Why don't we go to WrestleMania?" And it's in Las Vegas this year, where the Raiders play. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like I thought she was fucking with me. Not fucking with me. I guess I thought she was just kind of testing the waters or whatever, or because she's not necessarily a wrestling fan, but she understands how important it is in my life. And like we really started to have a conversation about it, and then it came down to it where it's like, okay, we decided that we're not going to do both nights because after what happened on Saturday at the Elimination Chamber, WWE actually raised the prices to WrestleMania.
oh, I
And
fucking believe it.
I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I came up with this idea. Okay, we won't go to both nights in the stadium. So we bought tickets to the Sunday night show because that's where Rhodes and Cena are going to be wrestling is on Sunday night. So I was like, okay, what if we go out there Friday and we'll just kind of explore shit. Saturday, we're gonna go to that world thing that they got going on at the convention center where
Yep.
there's like the meet and greets and the photo ops and their big ass store in there and all this stuff. And then we're gonna go someplace to watch the show on TV. And then Sunday we'll be in the stadium. So that's what we're gonna do. But brother, when it came time to actually hit that button, pay now, Like, whew, leap of faith, man.
So my question is, have you? So you bought the tickets.
hmm
Have you booked airfare and hotel yet?
Airfare, yes.
Oh,
Or
okay.
I'm sorry, hotel, yes. The hotel is stupid cheap.
Yes, they usually are.
The hotel,
Where are you staying at?
uh, I don't have it in front of me, dude.
Oh, you don't have it.
It's no, it's like 5 miles away from the stadium.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's I don't think it's on the strip or anything like that. But it was a highly rated. It's not like a national brand name either. It's not like Marriott or Holiday Inn or like it's like a locally owned one, but they got amazing reviews and like it was stupid cheap. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Um, Airfare was like 210 bucks a person out of
Yeah, it's not.
Detroit, you
Yeah,
know, straight shot. If we went out of Flint, there would have been a couple of layovers and like I don't like flying to begin with. We were gonna drive. We
yeah. You
had
don't
it in
want to
our
do that.
minds that we were gonna because fucking
Fuck
airplanes are
that.
falling out of the sky, bro. I don't want any
Oh,
part of this.
it happened a couple times. You know how many planes are in the sky every day?
I know.
Like it's a
I
very. In fact, we're about to book a damn plane flight down to Florida for next month, so we're gonna be flying next month too.
I don't
But
like
yeah,
heights.
well, yeah. I mean, don't look out the window, Jason.
Yeah. Oh, for real. But yeah, so it's so far, I mean, aside from the actual tickets to the show, these bitches are approaching Super Bowl prices. The cheapest ticket right now to WrestleMania is over 600 bucks, and it is on top of the stadium and behind the video wall, the entrance where they're
Oh,
walking
fuck
out.
all that.
Fuck all that.
Yeah,
So we got decent seats, one tier up off the floor. We can see the ring, we can see the entrance. Um, this is going to be her first time in anything like this, and my first time in Vegas. So
you're gonna love
it's
it.
you know I'm counting on it.
It's one of my favorite places in the world. You're gonna love it.
So we'll use this as the transition to kind of, and then again, we're not a wrestling podcast. However, what went down Saturday night at the Elimination Chamber?
Real quick before we get to this, I have to
Yeah.
step away for 2 seconds. Can you run an ad for the awesome PFC Network store?
Well, of course I can.
All right,
That's the easiest thing in the world.
I will be right back.
So that gives me an opportunity to let folks know about the new spring lineup at the PFC online store. Now, this is just a sampling of what you will see on that particular site. This is kind of highlighting our baseball jerseys for all the different shows under the network. As you can tell, this particular program has got a whole row dedicated to it. But, you talk about sports, you got to talk about the different, teams and colors and things of this nature. And, like here, a lot of these were inspired by Michigan-based teams. Clearly, the U of M with the yellow and gold, Michigan State, Detroit Tigers. This one, the red one, actually was made for Tim because he's a Kansas City fan, and so I went with the red and yellow. Uh, but you can head on over to pfcspring.printify.me right now to check out the spring lineup, or you can check out all of the regular merchandise at pfcstore.printify.me that has just about anything you could want and ask for over there. So and it helps the show out, and it lets people know that it lets us know that you are digging what we're doing. And if you tuned in here later, you weren't here for the very start of tonight's show. Let me reiterate a couple of things that we got coming to this particular show. The network overall, but like this show is really going to be the focal point for a lot of this expansion. And like next month, um, fans, viewers, listeners can actually call into the show and be a part of the conversation live as it happens. And that's going to be kind of a cool concept. And we are going to incorporate that into the other shows as well. But to be able to call in and be a part of the conversation live as it happens really opens a lot of doors of opportunity for you guys to, feel like that you're a part of this, because without you, we wouldn't be doing this. And it lets us interact with you, and we would like to get different points of view and perspectives and things of this nature. But yeah, you'll be able to call in next month, starting next month, and we will have all the information on pfcnetwork.net, the official website of the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network. Tim Sheridan is back with us.
Fuck yeah. Sorry, all transparency. I really had to pee.
I figured that's what was happening. That's cool.
Yeah. Sorry.
No apologies needed. Look, we're gonna spend the last segment of the show here this week talking. And we're not a wrestling podcast, but Tim.
No, but after Saturday night, fuck.
It has been what we saw. What started out as a wrestling angle, has turned into something so much bigger, so much more personal than I think anybody anticipated. And I don't say that just because I have been a lifetime diehard wrestling fan. Brother, I am seeing this storyline be incorporated as metaphors to fucking politics now.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart of The Daily Show um, dedicated a whole 15 minutes segment and incorporated what we saw at Elimination Chamber with John Cena's shocking heel turn against Cody Rhodes as a metaphor to politics, to real life, to sports, like legit sports. Like it's been a long time since something like this has resonated and made people react the way that they did. Now, I didn't watch the show live.
I did.
You did,
Well,
and you
I
texted
caught
me.
Yeah, I want to preface something here because I have to go into a story about the night because it was fucking crazy. So we go out for my birthday dinner. We go to A Plus Crab in Auburn Hills. Great place. I ate like a pound of Dungeness crab. It was fucking amazing. We get home and we're sitting there and I go, oh fuck, the elimination chamber's on. So I turn it on and of course it's right at the beginning of the men's elimination chamber match. And I watch it. It was a hell of a match.
Yeah.
Great match. Cena wins. I was like, fuck, I'm surprised that they let Cena win that. You know what I mean? I didn't think Cena would be the one to win that. I figured at some point in his final run here, he'd get a world title match and win a world title. But I didn't think it was going to be WrestleMania. To me, it made more sense to have Punk go against Cody. But then I'm like, how are they going to build like two huge baby faces against each other? Does it make much sense? I don't know. But then you put John Cena in that, it's like that's the biggest fucking baby face ever. Like how do you build that? Then The Rock comes out. At this point, I'm sitting here watching it. Amy's passed out in the chair. She's fucking doing her little lady snoring. Because women don't snore, they make little lady noises. But she's passed out. I'm sitting there watching this shit. And anyways,
you're getting your ass kicked,
most likely. She loves me. But anyways, I'm sitting there watching this, and then The Rock comes out, and I'm like, all right, and he's starting to go off on his bullshit, like I want your soul, and I'm like, this is kind of lame. And Cody turns around at him, and he just goes, Rock, go fuck yourself. And I'm like, what? And all of a sudden, Amy just sits straight up out of a dead sleep, and she's like, did I just hear what I think I heard? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he just fucking told The Rock to go fuck himself on fucking like live TV. I'm like, wrestling's back. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And then Cena turning on him. I'm like, this is even fucking greater. I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And it makes sense now for Cena to turn heel now. I mean, the perfect timing for her to do it, but it just totally flipped. This is almost like Hogan turning heel and joining the NWO. Boom.
I said the exact same thing.
Yep. This is huge. I mean, they just put the fucking wrestling business. This like brought it right back. That little 5 minute segment at the end of that just took me back to the Attitude Era. I'm like,
Mhm.
wrestling is back. Cody bleeding all over the ring, like fucking just amazing, amazing. And it wake Amy up out of a dead sleep. I mean, she was out and woke up when she heard Cody say, "Rock, go fuck yourself." And it just blew my fucking mind. It blew hers. Like it was fucking awesome.
I did not watch it live. I didn't see it until Sunday night. I stayed off social media. I had no idea what was happening. Other than I had gotten a message, I think it was from Todd Grossbauer or somebody had texted me, and all it said was "Holy fuck," and I'm like, "Don't message me. I don't know anything about it." When I get to work Sunday night, now I work with Brian Boff and Claudel Edwards, my co-host on Fatal Four Way. Brian was making a beeline for me, and I'm like, "Stop, stop! Don't say a fucking word. I haven't watched it yet." And you could see how deflated he was. He's like, because they had been waiting to talk to me about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen it. So they were at the other end of the line watching me watch the show when they realized it was I was getting towards the end of the show. And the Cody thing, like I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like it was on Peacock and they didn't even attend, and I watched the replay, you know what I mean? Generally they will bleep that out. They did not. And I was just like, oh my God. Like it startled me at first, like, okay. The hug and then the look on Cena's face, I was like, oh hell fuck no, are they doing this now? And the kick came and down. I was, yes, fucking finally, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
we have been waiting 15 years for this heel turn, and it finally happened, and it was done so well. Aside from the women's tag team match on that card was everything it needed to be. Even the women's match, the chamber match, so well done. So well done. Jade Cargill's return and beating the shit out of Naomi. Bianca winning. Like it was great. It was a great show. It was the first show in a long time. I gave it an A- grade because the reason why it didn't have an A was because of that women's tag match with Trish and Tiffany beating Naya and Candice. Like nobody gives a fuck. That was the bathroom popcorn match. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but man, to see that angle be used as examples and metaphors for real life shit. And like I mentioned, John Stewart, but he wasn't the only one. There was other political commentators that broke the segment down that The Rock was Putin, that
Oh fuck
Cena was the
Christ.
United States, and that Cody was Ukraine. And it was like, oh my God, this is insane. But it
Yeah.
was the biggest turn since Hulk Hogan joined the New World Order,
Yeah.
hands down.
And I
Hands
mean,
down.
yeah, and it's at a great time, and I've seen other people talking about this, and they go, in Cena in his heyday, he was all about the kids, like he was the king of the PG era. You know what I mean? It was all about the kids. It was about that audience that they were going after. Well, all those kids are grown now. And then you have
Mhm.
the rest of us that, like I came up in the Attitude Era, you a little bit before that. But we all lived through the Attitude Era, and we've been kind of like hoping to get back to a little bit of that Attitude Era. But right now is the perfect time for Cena to do it because he's been out of the spotlight long enough that he doesn't really have a whole lot of kids that really follow him now. They've gone on other directions because he is not around as much as he was at that point in time. And like I said, all those kids that were big fans of his then are grown now. And on top of that, there's so much transparency in the business now. Everybody knows what the business is.
Right.
Everybody knows that they're playing characters, so it makes sense that they do this now. It's not like back in the 80s or even most of the 90s where it was all kayfabe. Like you're like, oh my God, Hogan actually just did that. He turned into a bad guy. Everybody knows Cena's not a bad guy. Cena will still probably do all his Make-A-Wish shit and everything else while he's doing this. It's a character, just like The Rock is playing the heel right now. It's a character, so it's the perfect time to pull this off. And it's just, I think it's going to increase ratings tenfold, because not only did it get me hooked in that moment that night, I actually sat down and watched the entire Raw the next night to see how they followed up, and they didn't do anything to follow it up besides play some fucking things of
Video
it.
clips,
But
yeah.
bet your ass I'll be watching next Monday's night's Raw, and I'll be watching all these Raws building up to Mania, because I am so excited for Mania this year now, because now I understand how they're going to build a heel versus Cody, because I was hating the idea of two big baby faces going at it. You need that heel, and this is fucking perfect for it to be Cena. This is it. Now, does he win at Mania? What do you think?
I
Fucking Dave Melbourne.
I know
They're
I
not
had
all
to
in
put
prison, Dave.
I had to put that up there because I was like, that's just too good not to. Real quick, as far as kids go, like I was on TikTok a little bit ago, and there was one video. There, they do compilations where all these kids are watching this in real time and they're crying, "Oh, Cena, blah blah blah." But one little boy took this shit so seriously. He brought all of his John Cena action figures because they got like 20,000 variants of them, right?
Yeah.
And this kid started breaking the goddamn legs and arms off and fucking throwing it like he was hot. He was hot. It was he I was like, man, this is this is the kind of reaction that we have been clamoring for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
It feels fun to be um a wrestling fan again for the first time in a minute,
100%.
Um I have no doubt Cena and Rhodes are closing night 2 Sunday night. Um
Are you going to be
generally
pissed though if they move it to Saturday night and you get
100%.
Gunther and fucking Jey Uso?
No, I'm not going to be, because I would be just as happy seeing Jey Uso win the World Heavyweight Championship.
You think they're
from
going to give it
Gunther.
to him?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Now, do you think they're going to give it to Cena
Um,
or not yet?
no, no.
You think
I
so?
would be,
At some point he's going to get it.
he is,
Yeah.
and he deserves to. He deserves to be the guy to break Flair's record.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Would it be ideal to do it at WrestleMania to have that big blow off? Man, I could see it. Although, if they're going to have Uso win the world title from Gunther, and I think he is, I don't see both baby faces leaving the respective nights at Mania. Usually one does, and then the other follows suit. Um, they generally don't end a show with the heel going over. But damn, this is unlike anything else that we've seen it in a long time. So, and with the Rock's involvement, damn well he's going to be there. He's going to make his name and his presence felt.
Yeah.
I could totally see this being the crowning of a new era in WWE, much like they did at 17 with Steve Austin, beat The Rock, and then aligned himself with Vince McMahon at the end of the show. Um, it hasn't been done like that in quite some time, but I can see the argument of Cena winning. I just don't think they're going to right now. There's too much of the year left for him to do a lot of things that he probably has a personal checklist for on this retirement tour. If he doesn't win it at Mania, make no mistake, before we get to 2026, he will be the 17-time champion, which Ric Flair put out a tweet that said, "I don't care if I have to bust through security and break kayfabe and do all this other shit. You're not breaking my record if I have to go in there and ring myself and get you disqualified and blah blah blah." And I'm just like, bro,
You're 180 now, Ric Flair.
you're gonna
love
break
you,
a
Ric
hip.
Flair, but yeah,
Just stop.
You're one of the
Fucking
greats.
talking.
But it's time to crown somebody else in that thing, and Cena would be a good choice for that. But my question also would be, do they turn him back baby before they do that, or do they keep him as heel?
No, I feel like he's going to have a heel title run. He really hasn't had that.
Did you catch David's last comment there?
Okay. Oh Jesus, that's fun.
Yeah. All right. So back to the heel Cena or face Cena winning the title.
No, I think he's getting a run with the title as a heel. He hasn't been a world champion as a heel. U.S. champion, yes, but not world champ. I think I we haven't seen that, and they had to figure shit out to make this retirement tour seem fresh, so it's not the same shit over and over again. And I really appreciate that aspect of it. But make no mistake, by the time Survivor Series rolls around, he'll be back to being a face. Then he'll ride out those last 2 months as as the ultimate good guy again. And then
that would
go
make
right
sense.
off
Let
into
him go out on
sunset,
top
and
there.
then he can be
And
Hollywood's
hopefully
next big star.
Yeah, hopefully he stays in the sunset and not be like Ric Flair in his fucking late 70s coming out trying to wrestle matches still and falling asleep in the ring. But
well, listen.
I love Ric Flair, but his perfect. We've talked about this before when we did podcasts when it came to wrestling related. Ric Flair, if he would have went out against Shawn Michaels, that would have been the perfect ending to his career, and he should have stuck it there. Like that should have been it. Hopefully, Cena's smarter than that, and I think he is. He's more focused on Hollywood now, so this is his last little run for the fans. I think this is more for the fans than it is himself.
Sure.
So, which is an honorable thing, and I love or hate Cena. Cena's one of the best to ever do it. Maybe not in ring capabilities, even though he didn't really shine the way that he could, because I've seen him do it. He didn't need to, so he didn't have to, but as a character and his mic skills, one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah. His charisma is what made him the star that he is. That and his 5 moves of doom.
That's all you need is
Dave,
5.
David, no, sir, I don't think you should write for Raw. That sounds like an AEW storyline, if I can be honest with you. So, anyway, be that as it may, again, this is not a wrestling show, but we couldn't not make mention of it just because of who Tim and I are, what we are. And make no mistake about it, folks, as a spoiler, we're probably going to be talking more about this on the road to Las Vegas at the end of April. So that's why we save it for the end of the show,
Well, and you still have a whole nother show to make up about this, so you got more wrestling shows. You got 2 more wrestling shows. Shit.
Yeah.
So I had to get my part out because I'm only a part of this one at this point currently. You know what I mean? I know I've been on other wrestling shows with you, but I wanted to get my peace of mind out there about this because I was so fucking like, it blew my mind and it made me watch Raw again. And I will watch Raw again next week. And I'm going to be following this so closely. Like it was just, it sparked something to me that went, boom, I fucking love wrestling. Like I've been missing this. Like it's been so bland and so boring for so long. And now all of a sudden it's like, boom, Rock, go fuck yourself. Boom. I was fucking sold.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see how this all shapes up. There's 7 weeks up until WrestleMania, and that's a long time in some regards. It's going to fly by, but there's a lot of storytelling that goes on, and you can actually, we'll be talking more about this over on Fatal 4-Way next Friday on ONTV. Stay tuned to our socials for all the latest information. Excuse me, damn. I think they should book anyone in retirement match against Bill Goldberg. Hang on, I gotta put this up. Wrestling fans that tune into this will get a kick out of that. God damn, that's funny. If you know, it's one of those. If you know things, and if you don't, it's you. It's not funny. But make no mistake, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Only from the mouth of Dave.
Yeah. Well, ask Bret Hart about that and see what something. All right, let's put a bow on this. Let's get out of here, Tim. I certainly appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, anything of the sort, you can hit us up over on the Sports Real Podcast Facebook page, PFC Network Facebook page, or
And like and share.
yes, hit subscribe on YouTube, get notified in their little bell gimmick. Um, you'll get notified every time we go live. Or please, at least like and share the show so we can expand our audience. And with that, we appreciate you all. Go out, be awesome to yourselves and to each other. We'll see you next week right here on the Sports Reel podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Go Lions, Chiefs. Go Cena. I'm a Cena fan. Fuck.
Rock, go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Boom. All right.
Boom. We're uploaded.
Yes, sir.
I like Dave jumping on there. He's got all the nice, fun comments.
Yeah, I dig him. Yeah,
He's a
good.
blast. You never met him before, have you?
I have not. No.
Oh God, he was part of XBW with us way back in the day.